Finally, government informs NLC and TUC no strike allowed on subsidy. Can you imagine? So it's making it dictatorial. That means they have drawn a battle line. You are telling them no strike allowed. How? It's not a democratic system. Do you allow strike? You don't. Do you permit strike? You cannot say that. Okay? You cannot tell the people not to go on strike, except you are ready to fight them. And then you have to be ready. Because this one now is going to be something else. That is the truth. Yeah? To invited them on an emergency meeting last night, and what I'm telling them is that no strike is allowed on subsidy. But look at what is happening to subsidy, because it's a scam. In fact, it's even more scam than before under Tinubu's government. You say you are paying palliative because you have removed subsidy, but you are also paying the subsidy behind. So is that not double dipping? And you are expecting people to keep quiet? And you are trying to use a dictatorial tone to say no strike is allowed? People should not protest, agitate, and say their mind? No, I don't think this is acceptable. The federal government on Thursday urged the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, to reconsider their plan to initiate a nationwide indefinite strike action on October 3. The government asserted that such a proposed industrial action by the labor union would constitute a serious violation of an existing court injunction. It emphasized that the issues related to the removal of fuel subsidies, which prompted the NS and TUC to declare the strike, are already under consideration by the National Industrial Court. So according to the federal government, the union's willingness to engage in negotiations over the matter led to the withdrawal of a contempt proceeding that had been initiated against them. Consequently, the government, represented by the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi-San, wrote a letter dated September 26 to the legal representatives of the two unions, Mr. Femi Falana-San, and urging him to persuade his client to cancel the planned strike. Now, the letter, a copy of which Vanguard obtained, read, the ministry had noted media reports on the proposed nationwide strike action by the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, scheduled to commence on the 3rd October 2023. You are kindly invited to recall the antecedents of previous steps actions on this matter, particularly the exchange of correspondence between this office and your firm before and after the nationwide action protest declared by NLC on 2nd August 2023. While your clients had maintained that the nationwide protest by NLC is in furtherance of its constitutional right to embark on protest, the ministry has repeatedly advised on the need to advise your client to refrain from resorting to self-help and taking actions capable of undermining subsisting orders of a court of competent jurisdiction. It is also to be recalled that based on the conduct of the said nationwide action protest, this office instituted contempt proceedings against the labor leaders. However, upon the intervention of the President and National Assembly, coupled with the decision of the labor union to discontinue their action protest, the contempt proceedings were not prosecuted further. So this was advisedly done to enable the government and labor union engage in further negotiations without any form of encumbrances. However, in its communique issued at the end of its National Executive Council meeting on 31st August 2023, NLC resolved to embark on a total and indefinite shutdown of the nation within 14 working days on 21st or 21 days from 31st of August 2023. Also on 26 September 2023, the president of NLC and TUC jointly issued a communique stating that organized labor had resolved to embark on an indefinite and total shutdown of the nation beginning on 0 hours Tuesday, the 3rd day of October 2023. From a review of the contents of the above communiques and available media reports, the proposed strike action is premised principally in furtherance of issues connected with the removal of fuel subsidy. hike in fuel price, and consequential matters of making provisions for palliatives and workers' welfare. These are undoubtedly issues that have been submitted to the National Industrial Court for adjudication. Therefore, the proposed strike action is in clear violation of the pending interim injunctive order granted on 5th June 2023, restraining both Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress from embarking on any industrial action or strike of any nature pending the hearing and determination of the pending motion on notice. We wish to reiterate that a court order, regardless of the opinion of any party on it, remains binding and enforceable until set aside. Can you imagine? So you know all this. Meanwhile, you are not obeying court orders in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, in the case of people that you have arrested, in the EFCC chairman is there without a lawyer, and you don't obey court order. And so, but when it comes to NLC, you're talking of court order. Don't really. It is the expectation of the public that the labor union would lead in obedience and observance of court orders and not in its breach. Can you imagine? But do you obey court orders? You don't. The Minister of Labor and Employment, Chief of Staff to the President, National Security Advisor, Inspector General of Police, and the Director General, State Security Services were copied on the letter. So what? So recall that the labor unions had vowed to enforce an indefinite nationwide strike action from October 3 following the federal government's failure to address the economic hardship faced by Nigerians due to the abrupt removal of fuel subsidy. So this government is truly diabolical. That is true. This comment now coming in, that this government is truly diabolical. Let the strike begin. Continue until Atiku returns with CSU documents. Simple. Somebody say, Ebelebe. So this is a very serious one, and the government is trying to use court to stifle the power of the labor union. Meanwhile, they obey the court order in releasing them. They refuse up till now. Okay, so why are you talking about court orders at this time? Now, wow, labor should not be intimidated by court. Government has withdrawn the case, as such is free to pursue its legitimate demand. Who is this government? Who appointed this government? Whose interest is this government serving? Who employed this government? Who is funding and paying this government? Is this government a colonial master? Is this government a spirit? Why is it government? Is this government independent of the people? Who is government? And what does it stand for in Nigeria, Africa, and in black man's conception? Oh boy. All righty. Let's dance to the music. Fela Tokam. Now so, up APC, up Imiloko, una never see anything yet. By the time you see second base, una eye will clear. Are the court not part of NLC? We are watching. Anyone that protests because of subsidy removal is a terrorist and should be imprisoned, and government should make available relief in this season to Nigerians. Can you imagine? This is Agbadorian speaking here. Now, wow. And another Yoruba man has come here say, Koniye, Olori Buruku, may your family and generation die in this hardship Batif brought to this country. Can you imagine? And then demo, Bat should stop playing God over this case. Even the family of the court people are suffering. Let the court people be warned. Maybe the strike should start from the household of the court people. Nigerians should go after these corrupt judges and start teaching them lessons, okay, after each court session. So the fact here remains that this government is becoming a vampire in government, okay. They can't threaten. I know they will use the instrument of government, use DSS to chase people and arrest them. That's fine. Go and arrest them. I think it is time that we ground everything, because we cannot continue to run a nation like this. Let it break down once and for all. It is unfortunate that we are in this mess. How can a government be like this? Government of the crook, by the crook, and for the crook. So thank you for listening. Let's have your comment on this intimidation that the federal government is giving to the labor unions or labor leaders not to embark on strike. Strike not allowed. All right, too.